Change. Change is all around us. It is in every part of our lives, staring us in the face with every choice that we make. Change can be monumental. Change can be subtle. Change can inspire us and change can cripple us. But at the end of the day, change is inevitable. My name is Mrdjenovich. I'm 20 years old and I sing and play guitar in a band from Altoona, Pennsylvania called The Big Time. Throughout my 6 years in the Big Time, we have achieved some of our biggest dreams, traveled to some incredible places, and gathered an unreal amount of support. Looking back at my 14-year-old self, I see how much has changed, how much our band has changed, how much I've changed, and it's truly incredible. In 2009, I started the Big Time with a group of my best friends. At our young age, we immediately began to write our own material and play shows in our hometown. Nothing mattered, nobody cared, and nobody listened, but we were just four best friends playing music for fun. But to me, there was always a greater purpose. I had known from the very first second that I picked up a guitar that music was all that I would ever need. I would never go to college, I would never work a real job, and I would never be normal. But in the early years, I began to realize that not everyone shared the same goals as myself. From the time I was a child, I was exposed to performing, but not in the way that most people would think. In case you were wondering, yes, that is me. And yes, I am doing sign language to the Backstreet Boys. Many people do not know, but my mother, Karen Walkney Mrdjenovich, was born deaf. She'd always worked to bridge the gap between the deaf and the hearing. Before the age of 30, my mother became Miss Deaf Pennsylvania, lobbied for deaf rights, and became the first deaf person to graduate from the University of Pittsburgh. She later became a professor at Pitt and started an organization called Beautiful Hands, where she would teach students how to sign and perform popular music. The crew would travel throughout the country spreading deaf awareness. And even though my mom couldn't hear, she sang. But with her hands. At the age of 15, 5 years ago today, my mother passed away. My world was shaken. I suffered from it, but I never showed it. I put everything that I had into my music. While it was not on purpose, it somehow became my coping mechanism. I placed all of my faith, hope, and energy into the music that I was making, and it began to gain traction. It seemed as if I owed it all to her, almost as if her hand was guiding me along through everything. Starting in September, I spent a lot of time in many different places. In my weeks on the road, I had much time to reflect. I began to realize the things in myself that remained constant since the very beginning. I began to realize which of my friends understood me and shared the same goals as myself. I also began to realize that I was becoming more and more inspired by my mother's legacy and the name she left me to carry on. I realized that this name, Walkney, was not merely a name, but a representation of hope, love, awareness of self and others, and most importantly, change. In the past years, I've begun to notice such growth within the Big Time's way of thinking, the music we made, and our self-awareness. With every step towards new creative ideas, we began to believe that we were outgrowing ourselves. I soon found myself as the only original member of the Big Time, and the choice became clear. You may be asking yourself, is this the end of the Big Time? The answer is no. This is the beginning of an era, a time to choose a new vehicle to represent what is to come. Time to create from the old and honor everything that we've done. Time to show people the things that we believe in and create something so raw and so honest that is undeniable to all who encounter it. This is not an end, but a change. This is Walkney.
When we were young, we had a dream. We left our